The fourth guest. The final course. Transcendence. A profound silence enveloped the restaurant after the fifth course was cleared. It was the kind of silence that demanded attention, almost tangible, like a blanket settling over the room. Our four servers had retreated, leaving us to anticipate the final act. The chef appears. Then, for the first time, the wooden partition slid open fully, and the chef stepped forward. He was tall, dressed in an understated black kimono, his hair bound in a simple topknot. His presence commanded the room, exuding both tranquility and quiet authority. He spoke, his voice gentle yet resonant, carrying easily across the silence. "I welcome you, honored guests, to the culmination of this evening's journey. Until now, I've guided you through the courses from afar, but for the final course, I wish to stand before you." We watched in rapt attention as he approached a low wooden table that stood at the front of the dining area. With a serene, almost ritualistic grace, he began to assemble something. We couldn't see clearly at first, but soon we noticed an array of small earthenware pots, each containing a different component. Crafting the final dish. He spoke as he worked, explaining each step. This dish is made of simple elements: water, grain, legumes, fruits, and spices, transformed through care. Each ingredient is a symbol, each flavor a note in the final symphony. We exchanged curious glances. His words felt as much a sermon as a cooking lesson, carrying a spiritual weight. Behind him, the digital projections showed a slow sunrise, golden rays stretching across a horizon as if heralding a new dawn. He mixed the ingredients meticulously: a base of sweet potato puree, a dollop of a spiced lentil blend, a swirl of coconut cream, and a topping of fresh berries, all arranged with precision. The colors were vivid: deep orange, creamy white, specks of purple and red, like a miniature sunrise in a bowl. As he stirred, the music responded: soft, choral tones, gentle and uplifting, as though echoing the act of creation. The hush among us was absolute. Even the faint hum of hidden technology seemed to pause in reverence. Presentation and blessing. One by one, the four servers emerged to collect these final bowls from the chef, then carry them to our tables. My server placed the bowl before me, bowing. The aroma rising from it was sweet and spicy, reminiscent of a comfort food bridging all cultures. A universal porridge-like dish that could belong to any region with slight variations. The chef lifted his gaze to meet ours. "Before you taste, I invite you to close your eyes and breathe. Let the senses prepare. Let your spirit be open." We complied, exchanging uncertain but trusting looks. Eyes closed, I inhaled the fragrance. Sweet potato, coconut, a gentle undercurrent of ginger or cardamom. The swirling scents felt like a balm to the soul. Then the chef's voice guided us. "In this final course, you do not merely taste. You offer gratitude for all that nourishes, seen and unseen. As the ancient saying goes, through food, we receive life. Through gratitude, we transcend the mundane." A ripple of warmth flowed through me. The entire meal had been building to this moment, an intersection of culinary art and spiritual ceremony. Tasting transcendence. When we opened our eyes, the digital sunrise on the walls had blossomed into full daylight. Radiant golden light bathed the room, reflecting off every surface. We picked up the final utensil, a small ceramic spoon shaped like a crescent moon, yet tinted gold. I scooped a bite, lifting it to my lips. The flavors burst in my mouth: sweet potatoes' earthy comfort, coconut's creamy sweetness, the warm spice of ginger, and the bright pop of fresh berries. It was soothing and invigorating in one breath, like tasting sunshine. Across the table, AJ exhaled. "This is so comforting. I feel like I'm being embraced by warmth." Lan nodded, tears shining in her eyes. "It tastes like the best memories of home, yet it's entirely new." Kenji's voice trembled with emotion. "I haven't felt this kind of peace in a long time." A gentle hush fell again as we savored bite after bite, an almost meditative stillness. The dish seemed to coax out every comforting memory, every hidden hope. I sensed tears welling up in my eyes, but they weren't tears of sorrow. They were tears of release, of gratitude, of something intangible yet profound. The final revelation. When we finished the last bite, the chef stepped forward again, bowing deeply. You have reached the end of our meal, yet in truth, this is just the beginning. As your hearts are now open, you may see what was once hidden. He gestured to the servers who were lined behind him. Their faces were calm, radiant, and something about their presence shifted. A shimmering aura surrounded them all, including the chef. Then, before our very eyes, their forms seemed to flicker. For a moment it was as though light passed through them, revealing outlines of energy or spirit. We gasped collectively. The illusions, if illusions they were, displayed each server and the chef as something more than human, translucent figures of luminescent energy. The best approximation in my limited understanding was that they resembled angels or divine beings or simply luminous presences that defied rational explanation. In hushed awe, we stared. Lan's hand flew to her mouth. AJ looked ready to bow. Kenji's eyes filled with wonder. I felt goosebumps across my entire body. Then the chef's voice, filled with kindness. We are but guides, caretakers of the path. We appear where the hearts of those who wander seek deeper truths. Tonight, you four were drawn by threads of destiny. Through the communion of food, art, and spirit, you have found what your souls were quietly yearning for: connection, healing, and illumination. I couldn't speak, my throat tight with overwhelming emotion. It was as if the final puzzle piece had fallen into place. The intangible sense of magic, the extraordinary synergy, the cryptic comments from the servers, all made sense in this moment. This was no ordinary restaurant, and these were no ordinary hosts. Dialogue in the aftermath. Lan, trembling, managed to find her voice. Are you spirits? Angels? Bodhisattvas? The chef inclined his head gracefully. We are known by many names across cultures and times, but consider us simply as stewards of this sacred union, reminders of the light that dwells within every being. AJ folded his hands in respectful namaste. I feel so humbled. Thank you for this gift. Kenji, tears in his eyes, bowed deeply, pressing his forehead to the table's edge. I can't express my gratitude enough. My heart feels lighter than it has in years. Thank you. I found myself wiping tears. This is beyond anything I imagined. I came here lost, and now I feel as though I've been found. The chef offered a warm smile. Then take this revelation with you. Share it in your lives, in your art, your work, your relationships. The meal ends, but the spirit of it continues wherever you go. The server's blessing. Each server approached their respective diner. My server, the serene woman who had spoken so little, touched my shoulder lightly. A soft glow pulsed from her hand, and I felt a gentle warmth flood my chest. She whispered, "Walk your path with open eyes and open heart, for every moment is a taste of the divine." I nodded, tears streaming down my cheeks, unable to form coherent words. My heart felt brimming with something like pure love or a sense of wholeness. Lan, AJ, and Kenji seemed equally moved as their servers bestowed similar blessings. For a moment, the entire space shimmered like a golden mirage, as if we teetered on the edge of two worlds, one mundane, one transcendent. An uncertain return. After the blessings, the golden glow began to fade. The chef and servers stepped back. The digital art, once so vivid, slowly dimmed, leaving only the soft lantern glow from the corridor. The illusions dissipated. The sound of chirping night crickets outside the building trickled in. We blinked, adjusting to the abrupt transition. It was as if the restaurant had slipped back into a more ordinary state, No cosmic illusions, no swirling galaxies, no star-laced ceilings, just a beautifully designed, minimalist space lit by warm lights. The chef's form was solid again, appearing entirely human, though a faint aura remained around him, if only in my imagination. When you step outside, you will return to the Kyoto you know, but do not forget what was awakened here. Carry it within. He bowed. We responded in kind. I glanced at the other diners, all of us still teary-eyed and breathless with wonder. Exiting into the night. With gentle guidance, the servers, still seeming ethereal yet firmly present, led us back through the corridor we had first entered. The hushed lighting and tatami mats guided our steps. We had no bill to pay, no transaction. The cost, it seemed, was merely our willingness to be open and vulnerable. At the threshold, the chef bowed once more. You are always welcome, though you may not find us again unless the moment is right. He slid open the wooden door, revealing the dimly lit alley outside. The night air felt cooler than I remembered. We stepped out one by one into the narrow street. The door slid shut behind us. In the gentle glow of a solitary lantern, we exchanged stunned glances. We were the only 4 souls on that quiet Kyoto street, no sign of staff or other guests. I turned back to the wooden door, intending to take one final look. But there was no door, only a seamless wooden facade. My heart leapt. Had it vanished? I blinked several times, my breath catching in my throat. Yes, AJ murmured, voice trembling with awe. It's gone. Lan ran her hand across the smooth wood, no handle, no sign of an entrance. How is that possible? Kenji stared, a mixture of disbelief and deep reverence on his face. It's as if it was never there. We stood in silence, the 4 of us, each grappling with the enormity of what we had experienced. Then a soft breeze stirred, rustling the few cherry blossom petals that still lingered along the alley floor. The city's night sounds drifted in. Distant traffic, a bicycle bell, the hum of a street lamp. Life moved on outside our pocket of wonder. A shared resolve. Finally, we turned to each other. Our eyes gleamed with fresh understanding, though none of us had the words to encapsulate what had just happened. Lan spoke first, voice quavering with emotion. What do we do now? AJ shrugged gently, a serene smile blooming on his face. Live, with open hearts. Share what we've learned. Kenji touched the place over his heart. I feel a renewal, like a burden lifted. I want to keep that alive. I nodded. We should stay in touch. Our paths crossed for a reason. Let's not just disperse into the night like it never happened. We exchanged contact information, quickly scribbling down phone numbers or emails on scraps of paper, as if terrified the memory would slip away. A gentle hush returned among us. Then we parted ways with warm embraces and a promise that this surreal, magical night would not be the last time our souls connected. Epilogue. 6 months later, a global reunion. Time passed, and each of us returned to our daily lives, yet we carried with us the resonance of that night. In the weeks that followed, we maintained contact through emails and calls, sharing how we'd been changed by the experience. Kenji found fresh purpose, returning to teaching with renewed passion. He started incorporating mindfulness and creative expression into his language lessons, inspiring many of his students to look deeper into their own souls. Lan continued her travels, but with newfound clarity about her mission. She volunteered at small Buddhist communities, teaching local children and embracing the synergy between her roots and the broad spiritual lessons she'd gleaned. AJ immersed himself further in meditation studies, eventually becoming a traveling yoga instructor. Yet, he carried the memory of the restaurant as a reminder that true enlightenment also involves sharing joy and unity with others. I returned to Italy and poured my heart into photography. My art shifted to capturing moments that hinted at something beyond the visible, as if trying to freeze glimpses of the divine. In gallery exhibits, I found myself telling the story of that night in Kyoto, though few believed the more fantastical details. Still, the images stirred people's hearts, evoking wonder and introspection. An unexpected gathering. 6 months later, an opportunity arose for all four of us to meet in Italy. I invited them to attend one of my exhibitions in Florence, where I planned to showcase a new series inspired by Japan and other travels. To my delight, each of them agreed. The idea of a reunion felt both thrilling and comforting, like reuniting with family. We convened in a small trattoria after the exhibit. Over hearty pasta dishes and flowing wine, we recounted how our lives had changed. We laughed over the small details, marveled at the personal growth we'd experienced, and, inevitably, reminisced about the mysterious chef and his otherworldly servers. "Do you think we'll ever encounter that restaurant again?" Lan wondered aloud, swirling wine in her glass. AJ shook his head. "Who can say? It may reveal itself only when the time is right. Perhaps we found what we needed." Kenji, ever practical, said, "If it appears again, it will be for others who need its guidance. We might not be the ones who require another push." I smiled, remembering the final words of the chef. "You may not find us again unless the moment is right." Part of me hoped we would, but another part sensed that the essence of that night now lived within us. A shared gift. After dinner, we decided to stroll by the Arno River, the moon high and bright above Florence's Renaissance skyline. The conversation turned reflective under the moonlit sky. Lan took out a small notebook from her bag. "I wrote something after that night in Kyoto," she said. "A poem, or maybe a mantra. I'd like to share it with you." She read in a gentle voice, "We gather as strangers, we depart as kin, with hearts aligned by the meal within." No words can confine this luminous art. The taste of truth now dwells in each heart. The night air felt charged with memory and gratitude as she finished reading. None of us spoke. The poem said enough. Looking to the future. Eventually, we parted ways again, promising to meet whenever fate allowed. Life, we understood, was an ever-shifting tapestry of moments, and not all threads remain woven side by side. Yet, we knew that our bond, forged in that small, hidden Kyoto restaurant, would endure. For me, each day since had felt like a chance to carry forward the wisdom gleaned from those 6 magical courses, the synergy of senses, the bridging of cultures, the unveiling of hidden connections, and the revelation that we were guided by beings of light. Some might dismiss it as fantasy, but I knew better, as did the other 3 who shared that meal. In quiet moments, I can still taste the final dish on my tongue, the sweet potato, coconut cream, warming spices, and the intangible essence of love. I can still see the luminous outlines of the chef and the 4 servers, the swirl of galaxies on the restaurant ceiling, and the gentle pulse of the slate slab in my hand. All these memories converge into a single truth. We are far more connected, spiritually, energetically, cosmically, than we often realize. A final word to the curious. Perhaps you, dear reader, wonder if such a place truly exists, if such a transcendent meal can be found in a quiet Kyoto alley. I cannot give you a precise address, nor can I promise that the lantern will glow when you knock. But if you carry an earnest heart, if you wander with eyes open to wonder and serendipity, who can say what hidden door might reveal itself? If you are fortunate or destined, you may find yourself one day stepping into a humble foyer where a Zen-like chef greets you without words. You might sit with strangers at 4 low tables, each at a different corner of the room, and discover, course by course, that those strangers are no strangers at all. You may look upon plates of food that gleam with impossible color, swirl in cosmic patterns, and awaken memories of your deepest joys and sorrows, forging an unbreakable bond across time and space. If that time comes, remember to bow and whisper "Itadakimasu" with gratitude, for you will be partaking in more than a meal. You will be part of a grand tapestry that weaves hearts and destinies across cultures, lifetimes, and possibly realms beyond our comprehension. And as the final course dissolves on your tongue, leaving behind the sweetest trace of unity, do not fear if the door disappears behind you. Do not grieve if you cannot return by the same path, for the essence of that night will remain with you, living in your heartbeat, radiating through your thoughts, guiding your steps toward compassion and wonder. That is the true gift of this hidden restaurant, forever etched in your soul, waiting to flourish in every kindness you offer and every moment of awe you accept. And in that sense, though the walls and ceilings vanish like a dream, the meal goes on, transcending the boundaries of time, place, and imagination. The end of the story, but the beginning of a renewed form of living.